Welcome to Breathe Infinity. We have a very special session about breathing. And we're going to be talking about breathing from a different perspective. We're going to actually be talking about cannabis, edibles, breathing, and what is cannabis doing to our inside. I always like to make a reference to our co-producer and our general manager, Richard. And he would always say that cannabis opens up the capillaries. He has a wealth of information. He always seems to hit the mark. Yesterday, he had this wonderful poem that I'm really waiting for him to send to me, but I just want to get back to the topic at hand. It's opening up the capillaries, opening up the blood flow, opening up the flow of the oxygen. And this is what Breathe Infinity is all about. Increasing oxygen increases energy. What restricts us from getting more oxygen is our tense. I will make up a word, our tensity. We're so looking over our shoulder, we're so on the red alert that we don't have a chance to relax. And that's what cannabis really does. That's why everybody is actually reaching for it. It's become the all-American drug to deal with our anxiety, to deal with our pain. It's the wonder drug of America. And not only is it going to be the wonder drug of America, it's going to save us from our economy. Breathe.
Okay.
But anyways, on the more serious side, there are a lot of things that we're not really discussing with the effects of cannabis. And I'm going to give a personal experience of how I've got off of smoking more often and start getting more into edibles and more about tinctures and more about increasing that blood flow. And when I have a cup of coffee, I always put some CBD oil in my coffee.
Really?
Because coffee restricts you. Coffee is a stimulant. The CBD oil, it counteracts that and it opens up the capillaries. So you can actually get that kind of sensation like, oh God, I feel focused, but I don't feel like tense, and that's why I combine CBD oil with my coffee. So anyways, I did my little intro here, but I just want to welcome Laura and the special guest, Valerie Smart, and Laura from CCNC Specialty. Oh, you're in for a treat today because this woman, oh my God, like
amazing.
I want to know, am I eating sweets or am I eating delicate, luxurious sweet cake, cookies, or am I actually getting high? And you're actually doing both. And normally when people do edibles, they have all kind of mixed reactions. So we're here with somebody that's actually keeping it stream, keeping it even. So tell us about CCNC and your discovery of wanting to do edibles and bring it to everyone's attention.
Well, CCNC is built first off on when I was explaining that to you, it's a brand that's
there you go.
Research and development, okay?
You're good.
Making all the different stuff and things that I do, all the different tastes, all the different chemistry, it was really finding something that would give me a consistent learning dosage size. But edibles and food are built on people's taste and their eyes, their visions, their senses, their nose, their smell, their, all the different kinds of things that get us going. So
you're tantalizing the senses.
Yeah, you're bringing
and you're bringing it alive, right?
Into it, what you're doing. I always say, if you're not a chocolate lover, then shoving down a brownie or a piece of chocolate isn't going to get you off. Okay, for lack of a better term, but it's true in all different ways. It intensifies with chocolate because you're mixing your endorphins. Caffeine automatically gets those going. When you say you're mixing CBDs in your coffee, it's a hybrid. It's a perfect dosage size that makes it so then you focus and you stay in that in between.
In between.
The in between is a way of keeping a balance during the day.
It's the balance.
Most people can't figure out how to use it, when to use it, what type of version to use, what's going to, be suited for a day. It's an individualized. You have to find what's right for you.
Didn't you say that this morning? Didn't you say that this morning? Like you got to know when? Because I had I was telling him the last time I had a half a cookie, I was feeling good, but I was high.
Yeah.
So he said, well, take a quarter of that and then you take it at a certain time of the day.
Yeah.
That works for me. So that's so important,
It's,
right? To keeping that
it's
balance.
knowing what you're taking, it's knowing how you're taking and how much is good for you.
Right.
I think it's about expectation. The thing is that Valerie knows that I used to make my own cookies.
Yeah.
But I was very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, I would buy, more of a quality weed to put in my cookies, and then other times after a while, I was like, oh, I don't want any of that cheap stuff, and then maybe I would give a little bit more. So then I would have to take a batch and go, okay, how much is this going to, get me high? And so maybe I'll take a half a cookie, and then I would let people know what the dosage was. But then sometimes it would be very inconsistent. The thing that I think that I'm hearing from Valerie and myself and others is that you kind of know what you're getting into when you're interacting with one of your desserts.
When you say it's expectation, that's what makes this the scariest thing of all with people. Most people's expectations that are built on edibles have been a horrible experience.
Yes.
And for what it is that they're hearing and what it is that they're seeing in their own reflection
So
of
true.
what they've done. So your expectation, you've already put your mind into the thought like, I don't know what kind of ride I'm going to go on this time. Okay? So maybe I'll dial in and I'll try something different that's going to work, which is good because then you'll find your dosage size. But the problem is most people, and like they say, if you go into bud tending and you're asking these people
Bud tending.
what my size is, okay, then they're going to give you their experience of it.
Right, right.
When I built this edibles, it was the important factor of me getting the data into one thing and asking everybody else and taking an average consensus of how people felt on it to be able to create an edible that had the same
Expectations, yeah.
Okay? But if you make your own and you're riding a roller coaster ride. You have no idea where you're going to go, but your first thought is, hold on. I'm going to, slow down. I'm going to do, okay. But you're nervous, your anxiety, your heart rate is up because you're thinking what we all think always the worst.
I'm going to lose control.
You're going to lose control. You're going to have this bad experience based on what you've heard from other people. And you're going to prove it to be true because your mind is already there. But if you
And that plays a big part in the experience. Yeah.
But if you're going to get something that you love, whether it be hot Cheetos or whether it not be the strawberry cake or the chocolate cake that makes you lick the lid and roll your eyes up in your head, and your expectation,
Right.
and
Pure
the
ecstasy.
test of what it is ecstasy. Your senses are going off and nothing but a good feeling. You're already playing into it, the way that it looks, you've engaged your visual, the way it is, you're smelling exactly what you should smell, the strawberry or the bananas and the warm, soft bread,
And did you
you're
explain what
feeling those.
CC,
Yeah. CNC is Canis Cakes and Confections.
Okay.
Okay,
Say it
so
all over
yeah.
again, please.
Okay, I'm Canis Cakes and Confections. You can look underneath that name. CC&C Edibles, CC&C Distributions. When I built my company, I built it for the future, and I did things that people said that you couldn't do. One thing I'm proud of is CC&C is a 15-year-old edible company. I'm a catering company. I create menus depending on where it is and the localities that it is that you get. So, if chicharrones don't work for you, or barbecue potato chips or potato salad or chicken and waffles or, pastas or, even vegan foods and just, I specialize in whatever you can think of and imagine because I'm engaging everybody's senses. And I don't know what those might be. But you start to learn in different. No, people in Orange County don't eat the same way that people in Los Angeles, and people in LA don't eat the same way as people on the West Side. We
don't?
It's different. No, you don't. You're it's vegan. It's it's carrot
What
juice.
about the
it's
sweets?
bean,
Aren't the sweets like
So here's what I love about my company.
Right, because
No matter how many different designs and creations that it is that I've done, the best testing source to find was the consistency. I don't care if you're vegan and healthy or if you like to have your peach cobbler, every day of the week in summer.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you love sweets.
Universal.
You love cake.
Universal.
You love cookies. You love that sweet and taste of what's going to go in. That's the reason why sugar can control the world.
Okay.
Okay.
Sugar
That-
can control the world.
It has control of the world.
Exactly.
So
But
we're
remember-
just not in tune with that.
Exactly. And sugar's bad. Sugar is bad for you. To be honest with you, you will live longer if you are a vegan. You will start to deteriorate if you're going to put sugar. Think about how sugar breaks down. It's a compound that breaks down into your body. It takes away your energy and your fuel.
It slows you down.
And you have to repeat
Yeah.
that. That's why the hydration is important. And hydration ain't, I had green tea or Gatorade.
Water.
Hydration is water.
Or juice.
Let
I
it
love
flow.
juice.
Water needs to roll through you. That's God's way of moving His holy, juice and everything with you. The
Well,
body cannot live
I
without
want
water.
to discuss the moving through, the flow, because that is the whole idea from Breathe Infinity.
Yeah.
Is increasing the circulation, increasing the currency, and we're constantly in more of a static. Our body has a lot of resistance. So the thing about edibles or just cannabis in general is that it opens up the capillaries. It automatically relaxes the body. When the body is relaxed and it gets in more air, and then as it gets in more air, you can feel better. It's a constant hierarchy of you do this, then this will happen next.
I can speak well on that because I have asthma.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. and that's the reason why cannabis is one of the things that it is that I use for that. And I'm gonna tell you, Michael, coming up these steps.
So now that's a unique thing. So cannabis and asthma, and so now if you think about the way that we, you mentioned the West Side, you mentioned Orange County. Let's just talk about people of color. People of color smoke cannabis. I mean, if you look at 95% of our population, that's how they, ingest cannabis. So that's almost like a counterreactive to asthma. So that's why the edibles going into your bloodstream have a completely different effect, and it kind of bypasses the negative side of smoking.
Can we talk about
That's
that?
right.
So when you eat an edible, take me through the process of what happens.
You took yourself through it, and when you're explaining, this is why I love it when someone has. Okay. Explain to me what exactly happened when you ate that, and I'm going to tell you why. Because here's the feeling that people get. This was the general consistency. It was how people felt. My studies were based on how did you feel? What was the duration? What were you doing? What was the heightened senses? They'll tell me their emotions, the things that it is that they're going through. They become family members, so they talk to me.
Right. Right.
And they tell me everything. And so I would always say when someone doesn't know how, say if you're first time and you're afraid, I never wanted anyone to. When I first started making edibles back in 4 years after I started making edibles, I had a lot of people telling me, "Oh no, I'm afraid of you." Okay.
Yeah,
And I never wanted that feel. Don't be afraid of me, Lord. I'm baking out of love. I want you to experience and I want you to tell. And here's the thing: I'm gonna give it to you, and you tell me everything that it is. So I started
And you
creating
feel it.
them with those ledgers because the feeling I wanted to express to you was, you come in through your crown and you move all the way down through your body with the edibles. When you feel it coming in, it's going to be in your throat. You taste your butter to know exactly how the batch is going to be. I'm mama. I'm mama, and now I'm grandma too. But
Congrats.
I'm mama in the kitchen. And
So
when
let's
it's
explain to the audience a little bit with
pudding,
your butter, because we're not giving any trade secrets how you blend, the marijuana into the butter, and you kind of bake it, and you get your ratio, your consistency, your potency.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, and it's how you manufacture and how you put it in. It makes a big difference. Now, I'm 37 years in the food industry and licensed running a commercial kitchen. I did the impossible. I am now, and if you want to know, it's a black woman, I got to take this credit, who actually put a licensed DPH kitchen annually, commercial kitchen, in. It was set to be able so that I was going to turn it into a teaching tool. That's the direction where I want to take my professionalism. okay?
And it shows in every
It's
bite of
integrity
your
of the
dessert.
butter.
I'm telling you.
It's integrity of knowing what products go in there. All of my edibles list exactly what strain that it is that I'm using.
Okay.
Everyone else is just putting, if it is an OG blend, then I'm gonna put it in there. If it's a nice Gorilla Glue grown by a grower that I know that's reputable, that, you know, does it in an organic setting, and I know exactly what nutrients he's using, because, you know, as a pioneer, my husband and I pioneered and family, really, this is in a family industry. This is the family, you're farmers. This is a family industry. And when you're doing it and you're growing and you're cultivating, we planted the first hydroponic stores here, started, doing that. So it's knowing your products, knowing what goes in. You need to know every single step of the way of what it is that you're doing. If you're going to run a commercial kitchen, you better know how to clean a grease tap just as much as you know how to run a hood. I'm ready to train some people to come into the industry and be able to manufacture edibles. Some of these edible companies that you have out here, when I say you got to trust the brand. If you want the consistency, trust the brand you're using. Know their methods. Ask what they are. Where does their CBD come from? Okay? When you ask these, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get somebody who says, I don't know, I'm just giving it to me by a supplier. I have a big issue with people offering, so it's CBD, $7 a gram, $8 a gram, whatever. You see it declining because everybody's making CBD.
Yeah, it's true.
It's legal.
Yeah.
So everybody's going at it. Trust your brand. Trust their practices. Look into them. Do your studies. This is how I've always based it. But if I'm going to build a company on a true and trusted that I've earned for 15 years and doing what it is that I've learned and taking and putting it's research and development, because I want to build the best brand. I want to build the truest brand, but most importantly, it's a calling from God to say, I've given you something to heal the nations, and the best way to deliver that is through food. How everybody eats and how everybody does it and how everybody heals. It's not for everybody. It's not. Okay?
So Valerie, the reason why I brought on Valerie is, Valerie's a customer. I actually brought some wonderful cookies home from the BET event, and it was,
where you got them.
they were laying around the house, and I put them up, and then Pastor, what are these? And I said, well, these are edibles. They're use with caution. And so express to me when you start taking the edibles, what it is that you experience, and you kept asking me more and more questions.
Here's the thing.
And I want to say one thing real quick to make sure everybody gets this out when it comes to dosage size. That is the number one thing. Use with caution. Understand and know until you get that consistency that you want in that brand, and then stick to that brand. Okay? And
that way you don't get stuck.
Because that education is number one.
Yeah.
And knowing what you're using. So, yeah.
Well, I'll say for me, I'm one of those people that you guys were speaking about earlier where it's like I was scared because I remember like the first time you made the cookies, Michael, had that. I guess I had maybe half, and it was good. But then we had another one, it was too strong for me, and so I barely even smoke because it seems like no matter what I smoke, I'm like in the cloud, and I can't think and can't say my name, and I'm just a mess. So I remember having yours for the first time that Michael had in the kitchen, and when it did hit me, when I realized, oh my God, I was feeling good. Like it was an unusual feeling for having ate an edible. Not only that, it was really good. And I love sweets. So I was just like, oh God, not only was it delicious
Taste is the number
got to
one
that,
thing for me.
killed that little sweet tooth I had, but then I was also feeling really, really good. On top of that, I got very horny. So I was I already have
better
that.
than Viagra.
This is amazing. I'm telling you, it really is. It's unreal.
When
and
I
then
have
you have the
people pop
feeling
lid,
that you
I said,
get.
You can't smell. You don't get that expression when you pop the lid and you smell it. And I always look at people. You don't get that in a pill.
How about you don't taste it? Sometimes when you taste the edibles, you can taste the weed in it, right? But with this, you don't taste the weed.
So
and you taste the sweetness. And let me just finish saying this. I know if I touched my leg, I felt a certain way. Everything just felt so like, oh my God, wow.
Buttery.
I just felt
you're comfortable.
I
You know,
felt
when you
very
ask for that
comfortable and
experience
enlightened.
of what it does, it does. I always
Yeah,
say, when people
just-
look, this is the expectancy that you'll get. And after 15 years of hearing this, you know, the big consensus is, and my own, you're going to come into it and it's going to be something that's just going to enlighten. You're going to start to feel that, you know. It's going
Yeah,
to
it
start
seems
to
like
move
it
down.
starts
I go,
from-
that's when you start cracking your neck. That's when you start moving your body.
It's true.
That's when you come down and you let it. And as it
Yes,
sinks,
the
you're going to get a little
breathing.
lump in your throat. You're going to feel like, you know, oh, okay, but it's
Well, you're
not,
opening
you know,
up.
that's when it's the breathing, because it does help me.
And it's the
to do
perfect
that.
combination,
And
the
it goes
breathing,
in, yeah.
cannabis, edibles specifically.
Yeah.
Well-
And you're taking, it's an all over body high, so
That's
it's
the
going to come
thing.
in.
It's
It is a body
It's all
high.
a hybrid. Edibles are a hybrid no matter how it is that you get, depending on what you're going to use. I
That's
often
true.
use
It's
what
all
I do
mixture.
in coffee too. That's why coffee companies, you know, when they come in, it's a good combination. People think they're going to fill up, but I always say no, you're just going to get to that comfortable zone. But in the end, it's going to act like an edible because it's going to relax your body and it's going to put you down. You know, when you're figuring dosage sizes, and I brought some because I do want to give an example of how much you should eat, because that's the next step. When it's so good that you want to eat the whole thing,
Right.
you should.
Well, you can't look at it like a dessert because you can get in trouble.
Well, I just know mine's
Yeah.
lasted for 2 days and I felt good the entire time. That's the thing.
What lasted for 2 days?
Well, at the party, Ecor's birthday party, I had more than one. I probably had like 5 or 6 of those little, like,
What?
red velvet or the white
yeah,
cake.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I had a
At
few
one
of those.
time?
And well, while I was there, yeah,
God.
absolutely, they were delicious.
let
And
me
I
tell
was
you
like,
this.
I just kept eating. But here's the thing,
Yeah.
I felt so good that I didn't want any liquor. I went and got some, but I didn't really like the liquor for some reason. I didn't even need it either. You know, I just got where I needed to be and felt good without the drunkenness, without the liquor on your breath and all of that. You know, it just was this
And
feeling.
consensus is, this is what I hear. So when someone's telling me, I'm prescribing that for them. Now, if I'm catering an
God.
event, I'm taking, everything I do is taken into consideration. Everything, from the packages that it is that I choose, okay? I've had plastic companies tell me, you can't get any better what's on the market. I go, no, I know, that's why you're where I'm at right now. I need a better product. I
you
need
see
a
that?
better plasticing. So I'm getting ready to work with a young lady that actually builds products for the cannabis. It's always in the hemp world, because a better product for me would be able to find something that works with a hemp, a biodegradable to cut down on the plastic,
can use that.
be able to go in and you know, you want to eat it. You just want to pull it, you know.
I mean,
Igor was
You're
here
putting
that
this in the
time.
light, my
Look at
and
this
putting-
pink
yeah.
and all of this.
That's what I say,
Oh
is
my
there a way to
God.
Your
Your
senses
on
are
that
already
thing?
going
Yeah.
off.
There it
You
is,
feel
Michael.
it?
Show
Yeah.
Look at
Oh
Okay.
my God!
Yeah.
You know, let me get
Now-
the reflection. There we go.
There
And
it
every
is.
bit, open that up. I wish you could get the strawberry that's
How about
sticking
it's
through
so
that.
soft, too?
That I get people, how do you get it so
Okay, well,
moist?
make sure there we
So
go.
That's
moist.
the biggest thing, yeah. Because a lot of
Can they
people
really see you
can't,
hold
you
it
know,
out and you
there's,
see the redness
there's
in
pearl,
there?
this is called strawberry pearl.
Oh, that's
And
beautiful.
so when you look at it, it looks like if you find an ocean of strawberries with the strawberry interlaced in there and sprinkled with
Hold it
like
out more.
sugar
So
on
Take a deep breath
yeah.
with your nose for a second.
And then you smell the freshness.
You can smell the strawberries.
You do smell it.
These are baked every single
Wow.
week, and studies are. You can't.
See, but I'm already
Yeah.
tantalized.
And that
just by
strawberry,
smelling
can I
it.
see it?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
This is where you lose it.
Oh well. See,
I have some people who will hold
Yeah.
back, and
I feel like they
say,
really need
I-
to
you
see.
know, this is-
if you
this
can
is-
see,
the
like the
love
colors.
that
It's
I-
pink.
yeah.
It's white. I don't know if they can see
Well,
that.
you know, we already seen it from the other angles. so-
It goes into how it
But
should
you gotta
look,
see the
how
colors.
it should hang, how it
It
should.
is
It's
just,
art.
and it's moist
It's
looking.
art. It's art.
Yes.
You know.
So as they are enjoying
When you're looking at banana bread.
the visual, there's a banana bread
That's
over there
banana
on one
bread?
of the
Stop
on one of the
playing.
things. Yes.
And you have to have just that tint of sweetness
Oh.
with the vanilla glaze and walnuts that are caramelized. So when you dump it in, you can heat it a little bit, and then you can take it warm and with your coffee in the morning. And breads, between sweets
That
and breads,
is
sweets are going to
beautiful
hit you
looking.
a little bit more harder. Breads are going to take it back to give you more of kind of that really nice hybrid. I always say sativa. And when you're going into lighter, think about this too. colors, how those play in. The lightness of the cakes, it's going to give you more of that sativa, that uplifting, that feeling, okay? When you're doing something that, because I put it in everything, you could lick the icing. And,
Oh, no, I know.
yeah.
Oh, I know all about it.
I mean,
I sure do.
yeah.
So let's get back to the 2 days. You had 4 or 5 of them. You were actually feeling the effects for 2 days.
Yeah, actually I did. So
And it was
I know,
consistent?
let me just say this. I had like maybe, I would actually say I had probably like 6 or 7 of the little slices.
Okay.
Whether
And
it
each
be
one of
the
those would
red
be
velvet.
considered one dose.
I see.
So now
So
I'll
I had
dose them
7.
down when
Or
they
more.
come in, you know, to a specific
Wow,
of
I
what
didn't
I've
know
gave
that.
you doing. This is the size that they were, only
Okay.
when I gave them to you, I did them kind of sideways.
Right,
okay?
exactly.
But it's in the consistency of building that certain particular size that I have, or
Wow.
what it is that I put, the ounces, the measurements of what I've stuck in there. And just
And how
years
about
of
I
doing
wasn't
the same
tired,
thing.
so we got home after, right? And I was feeling so good. And so Alpha, I went and stayed at my friend's house. He went to sleep. I was still feeling good. So I started sexting, you know. And, you know, I mean, honestly, and my body was doing its own thing. It was really doing its own thing. Honestly, to get grown with it, okay? Like, I didn't have to even touch myself. And I was, like, already wet and moist and just,
So
like,
Sometimes
were
you
you-
can
whoa, whoa, whoa,
visualize.
I was
what-
so damn horny.
Let's slow
It
down.
was
So
crazy.
you're on the phone with somebody.
well, first we started sexting, and then he sent me a picture, and that's all it took for me to just be like, oh my God. And things just started happening. Okay, and then when I got on the phone, it made it 10 times more intense. But, like, that feeling, even after I got off the phone with him, saying, like I said, let's stay grown for a minute, I just, like, literally sat there and I just came. And I felt it strong, okay? Because you feel everything.
I've done it
It is
before, too.
way more pronounced.
So now,
And then got on the phone, and even when I got off
It's
the phone,
like tantra.
I was still,
I'm
it
trying to
took
get
me some
there.
time to go to sleep.
It's like-
Then the next day I woke up still feeling that way. You know,
Yeah.
I could have went another
Like you could have
round.
gone another round.
It's the best feeling. It really is such a good feeling.
so
yeah.
let me clarify a little bit for the audience. So you were actually feeling sensations without touching yourself?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
you're a
Nipples, just really hard, all of that.
Hey, I had a,
You can
I had
tell.
a-
I can
Okay,
relate.
so
Well, you get excited.
see, everybody, we understand, but the audience isn't really understanding what's taking place. They're like, wait a minute, hold up. You're having a conversation, your body is feeling sensations, but you're not touching yourself. So what's really going on
And
is
it's
that
intense.
the body is being connected. And so what the edibles does, it takes all those restrictions, all those internal blockages,
True.
all those things that we are doing to ourselves with the food,
constrict.
with our intensity, with our way of our lifestyle, and it just removes that. And then you're able to
away the
have
barriers.
one-to-one communication. That's hopefully if you got great open dialogue, then you can allow the body to feel each other without touching. And so the body is connected.
Flows.
So the
true.
edible is just
Yep.
putting you at your more natural state.
The way
And
you
that's
should be.
why it's considered, and now we can tune in, that's why it's considered aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So true.
I mean, I say that when people see me, you know, and I'll go to events and whatnot. That's one of the first things that I'll tell people. Number one, it's not just an aphrodisiac, and it's not something, because I'll tell people it's better than Viagra. And I know this because I've had older gentlemen walk up to me and say, oh yeah. I didn't just give it to my wife. It's the best thing. It's a wife, here you go, a piece of cake, honey.
Can you
And
imagine
then you
keeping
have,
it-
I go, yeah.
Keeping it real and at that age, okay?
My
Like,
joke is either it's going to turn her off or it's going to turn her off by putting her to sleep. I go either way,
How
depending
off
on the
does she wanna go?
situation. You win.
And I
But,
think
yeah.
you should be sharing with it. I got stingy with mine. I got a little
Yeah.
greedy. I didn't want to share it with the dude because
guys are
when I
like
did
my
see him in
kids
person,
when I see
I didn't
them.
want to share it with him.
She
I was
brought
stingy
her,
with
she
it.
brought her dose
Yeah.
and she brought one for her guy, and she took hers on her way. And then when she got there, she forgot about him, and
Well,
she
I
went,
felt
"Oh."
like he didn't need it, but maybe I had enough for both of us. Heck, he didn't need any.
Wow.
Once they had it, it's like
I
that
kept it
favorite
for
piece
myself.
of what job you have and you do and you want to. I hear that story more times than I can ever recount. And they'll be fighting. I've seen sisters, mothers, brothers, cousin, uncle. Oh no, he ain't getting this.
No.
This is my. I have seen people, the hemp twins. I'm gonna give a shout out to you guys. I did an event with the Industrial Hemp Alliance, and at the end, it's my parting gift. I'm gonna feed you all. I'm gonna always bring gifts, and because you're studies to me, how you tell me and what it is. So, but they're taking them all, and they're taking 4 or 5 deep, and I'm like, wait a minute, I brought some for everyone. Oh no, they ain't getting this. And she ain't getting, you gotta give something to my sister now, because I'm not sharing.
Well,
this.
how about I brought some home from the
love
party
that.
on top of all that I ate.
Yeah.
I took another 7
People
home.
will scrape it, it'll be the last dish. Now, doing this, I'll see it
Her
spread
parties, you know
out.
what happened? People are so greedy is that, if
Yeah.
you're a little bit, like I remember there was something going on here and she brought some stuff and she took up the whole table. I made sure I put one away because I had
have
to work.
to.
Because people will just start taking before, the party is even
From
over.
the moment
They
they
don't
No,
have
but
anything.
hey, no.
Yeah.
But at Ecor's party, how about it seemed like no matter how much I took, when I went back, there was more.
There was always
I was like, well, wait a minute now. That's why I felt free enough to take the 7 that I did home on top of the 7 I ate there.
I'm always going to create more.
I was like, damn, there's more.
Always. And people will
Oh,
do that.
never ending.
Because you know what? It'll last through. You'll have, for most people come up, they'll have that expectancy of saying, okay, I don't want to get that stoned yet. There's a whole party. But it also has a hangover effect. Okay.
Okay.
So let me tell you about the hangover and the
Yeah.
alcohol. So when you are using it and you are going to go out on a night of drinking, this is education, y'all, so listen up. When you are going to go out and drink, I always say then at that point you want to take half the cake. These are built on dosage sizes, okay? This is studies of 15 years of spending this out from all regions and getting that perfect dosage size and how I do the consistency of that. This is about 1/4 of the dosage size, a full cake. Knowing what to take, and all of these are labeled that give you the ingredients. People don't read, so listen up, y'all. Okay.
That's true.
So you're going to take one in. When you take those slices of cake, I'm thinking of one dosage, but I'm thinking of how many people are going to be there. They're going to come in. They'll take one. I always say, go ahead, take one. Just take one. Then they'll get that feeling. It'll come in. They feel good. They feel smooth. They feel like, yeah, I don't need to go smoke. I don't need to go out and sneak out to the party. If you're in a club, you don't feel the need to have to go to your car. I mean, these days that's the best place to be if you have a club that you can smoke to. If you want to take the effect on quicker, you're going to smoke. Take 2 puffs, I say. Eat
Trigger.
a dose or 2. If you're going to drink heavy, I always say eat half the cake.
Oh, I see. Okay.
If you take half of the cake, then by the middle of the party, you're sitting there while everybody else is outside getting high, and you're just sitting there in the
And you're
VIP
feeling
section,
good,
like
right.
feeling, yeah. Or you're out on the dance floor, and you're moving and you're grooving, and you don't feel like you have to get up. Then when you go home, you take the other half of the cake. I have had people where I've made birthday party cakes for, eat the whole cake because the chocolate decadence, and I'm going to make it exactly the way I'm imagining her licking that and eating it and doing it, because people will lick the icing off the plate. It don't matter. These
Man.
could be smudged and
Look.
whatnot. They don't care.
And
Their
it's so
senses
moist.
are already in tune, and they're getting exactly what it is they're expecting it to taste like, feel like, be like. That moistness comes in. That's a little shocker, but it's always the taste. I
It's a
want
heavenly
awards
experience.
on
It takes you
taste.
higher.
Okay,
Higher.
my awards are edibles list, and I know I should put my hair up.
No problem.
Oh, look
You know,
at here.
And yeah, I'm gonna show this baby
This
off.
is great.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this was my award for best cake cupcake for edibles list 2016.
Let me actually
Okay.
put on this.
2016. That's
But
great.
I have won 2016, 2015, and I want to say 14 when they started out. Okay.
And where's
but
this at? LA?
This was
clear.
in LA. Now they're
Okay.
running a different. Shout out to Bo, and for edibles list, and that was the Academy Awards of edibles. And they would take those away. This year they called me, and I didn't even send in my desk, and I took away first cake, or no, the second year. This is the first year, so it was 2017.
Maybe
I
if you
wanted
put.
to.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
I'm not, yeah. So if you Google me, you can see. But it's best cake, second place for best sugar-free, yeah. And
It's
and,
sugar-free?
Sugar-free.
That's why you feel like you
For
can eat
I got
so
a mama
much
with
of it.
diabetes. I'm
Yeah.
always trying to create the perfect cookie.
I didn't know it was sugar-free.
Gluten-free,
See,
whatnot.
sugar-free.
I'll throw sugar-free in there, and people will eat it, and I come back,
Wow.
the next week, and they're like, "Oh my God, that caramel chocolate thing that you made, that was so
What is this
bomb."
chocolate thing,
And I'll
by
go,
the
"Did you
way?
know it was sugar-free?"
What is this
This
one?
is the chocolate chip cake. I make a certain set of anywhere from 7 to about 20 different items per week, and I send those out, and they're gone and come back in.
And you mean different flavors?
And different flavors, different
Okay.
varieties, from salty, savory to sweet, to whether it be, like I said, a trail mix, which will last all night too, and
This
people
looks
did, if you got
yummy.
some of the trail mix that was there.
Just yummy.
And did those in with a little spicy, I'll create different things.
How
to
does
let-
this
yeah.
work with, let's say the CBD oil that you have?
Now,
is that
I
a good
do a
mixture?
full, I'm gonna tell you, I do a full, because my studies are on the whole full cannabis plant, and this becomes a belief. This is studies for me, okay? For what I put out, what I see, and we're doing it on the whole plant, because scientific data is not caught up to where these places have taught me. Okay, on the individual person. When we were talking about studies, okay, the cannabis industry flows very rapidly, and it changes every single day. And that's why it's hard. So where things are caught up to, they're never going to catch up. The data's right there in front of their eyes for what they don't see. And I have to say this, it follows with the illegal dispensaries. I'm not trying to promote and doing, but that's where the data is, because they're working so rapidly. If you can't figure out why you can't regulate the industry and pull them out, and they're like cockroaches, no matter what, you think you're clearing them out in one space and they're pulling up in another, that's how fast the industry is moving.
Yeah, it's moving very fast.
Very fast.
Yeah.
And to keep up with them, and they're already on to something different, okay? Where's the best place to collect data? Okay?
And so how
And-
does that
and
mix
so-
with the oil, though? I mean,
Now,
so
now when you do the
it's
CBD,
different.
here's
It's
my thing
different?
with the
Okay.
CBD. Now, the legal industry can now play with CBDs. And you can actually create a lot more data that is going to come on CBDs. Now, my company was built on a trusted integrity. First off, the integrity had to start with me. Okay? Whatever I'm going to put in, I'm mama, I'm feeding my babies. I'm not going to give you anything that's not going to harm you, except the sugar. Okay? Now, I am going to put preservatives in it because the industry's not there. USDA ain't aboard. FDA regulations ain't aboard. But you know what? When they come on aboard, guess what?
You're
I got
ready.
your data.
Right, you're ready. You're ready.
Exactly.
So you're thinking ahead.
Okay? I am always 2 years in the head. That's the way you have to stay up. That's what a pioneer does. I'm an entrepreneur. That's what I am.
That's
I'm a
how she
pioneer.
does it.
And I am a minister because I'm going to preach this. Okay?
One of the effects
Because
of a
you're my
one of-
babies and I'm feeding you. When you're using a CBD oil, and what we were talking is, I'm looking for a very pure CBD oil where I can now combine that data, okay, with all of the other research that goes on the spectrum that can do. CBD is good for you because it doesn't give you the THC high.
Okay,
Now,
right.
most CBDs that are formulated here in America are still going to have a 0.3%, okay, let's say maximum, okay, of what THC comes in. Now, imagine your chemistry levels. You could say, oh, I've had some of that CBD oil and it's gotten me, I felt a little bit high. Now, your expectations with CBD, if you don't have the experience with CBD or understand CBD, your expectation is already, I'm going to get high. Kind of like the contact guy. Mama walked into a room after everybody smoked a joint. She said, I feel high already.
Right, right.
And we're rolling our eye. Mama, you have no idea. And yet, at the same time, her expectancy is to have that. Well, you're going to have that with CBD too. So that 3%, 0.3% that you're going to get is going to kick into action. And it's going to hit some senses that's going to come in. It's okay. It's only enough to be able to relax you. If you know this in your mind, you don't go there where you're feeling. It's like when the edibles are coming on, and after you get that, oh, this
Right,
is
you
done,
get-
and this is done, and this is, and you already have that expectancy of knowing what to expect, you're gonna be calm. You now relaxed your body. Now you've accepted
Well,
it,
that's
and
what
you've
I'm
opened
saying.
up the flow. You feel the breathing that comes in, much like when we're doing yoga. Okay,
Well, see,
you're
that-
stretching and
That's
and
a key
opening,
element
yeah.
because My whole routine when I do my workout is, I'll put the THC CBD into my coffee. And then the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start stretching. I love the doorway stretch where I'm opening up like Superman because, we walk around
Although
so
I'm taking
much and beware that our posture is more like this. So the first thing I do is I start opening up here. And then I'll start opening up my pelvic floor. And then I'll go and start running. I'll start loosening up. And my whole workout is based upon just loosening up and breathing. And I will start feeling as I breathe, the more relaxed I breathe and the more air I gain, it'll be like lighting a fuse to get that exhilaration. And when I take that into, my flow of my run, I call it meditation in motion. I'm nowhere near running. I'm somewhere else. I'm in a zone.
That's how I get on my treadmill.
And so
and cannabis will do that, and I won't even think. And even though you're doing 45, you're ready to go an hour.
You're relaxed, you're breathing,
yeah.
you're just caught up, and that I call that the free energy zone. The free energy zone is like your body is under duress, it's doing its activity, but you're not there as far as not thinking about, oh God, this is so hard, how much longer I go. You're there, God, I'm just feeling so good and relaxed. I'm pushing myself a little hard, but let me breathe, let me relax, let me get in more air, and it takes you away from that kind of tension, that kind of like hitting the wall, and you just get caught up into like, okay, I just need more air. I just need more relax, and then you're done with that set, and you go on about your day. And then what's the best part about that? The rest of my day, I feel like there's clouds underneath my feet.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not even really touching the ground because I'm so light and I'm so at ease. So that becomes the routine, and you can have similar effect with the CBD oil because it ends up opening up. But sometimes I like that extra, THC kind of feeling
Well, that's
kick
why
in.
when you say you can go for those 2 days,
Yeah.
that you have it. See, that's a flow of how there was a phenomenon with the carrot cake, and I've had several people tell me that, and then I experienced
The phenomenon
myself was the fact that I could eat the carrot cake, and then you would feel it in the day, and then it would go away, and it would ride on another wave and start to come up and just kind of keep
That's
it flow.
where the breathing
People
comes
like
in.
that with exactly, and they'll
The
and they'll
breathing can
feel
kick
it.
that in,
Yeah.
and as you said, I call them triggers.
Yeah.
The breathing will kick it in. If you
True.
smoke and take just 1 or 2 hits, just the 2 or 3 sips of wine will kick it in. And that's why those other type of devices are minimal, because you start to feel the effects. It's almost like, oh wow, I got another ignition.
Can I give an education on
Please.
cannabis, different ways that you can.
You want me to hold that for you?
If you like.
Sure, absolutely. I'm like,
You can open up
I
that
was
lid with the
thinking,
chocolate and take
yeah,
a big old smell.
I
It's
mean,
chocolate.
take a smell.
and take a smell and
Just
a
do
whiff.
more than
I
that.
couldn't wait to hold it. Oh my God.
Well, I was holding that for a while, and I felt rude, and figured I'd give it back, even though I'm
Now
gonna take
the
it with me.
chocolate's already kind of because it's
Yes,
in the
yes.
studio here, but I do keep it.
I mean, it's
carrying the
So the phenomenon that you were
So
mentioning-
with the this is what my cakes do to people.
I'm just figuring I
Even
might
if
as
it's
well.
doing to me, it's a distraction. We were having a discussion. Whenever you walk in, people already get that flow that's going in. It's distracting, but you get that. I'm sorry. What was the question?
Well,
What were
we're
we
into the
saying?
phenomenon. She's in the outer space.
She's in
here.
phenomena too.
It's that
You guys just took that whole anyway. The phenomenon, the carrot cake, and you were mentioning how you're talking about it
you
triggers
flow,
that.
it triggers, and those are the effects exactly. It and this is where I always say it
tell you
comes in
what.
when you need it, and that's the reason why it's that all over body. We don't. There's over how many different makeups of what's in cannabis, elements that are there, things that haven't been discovered. Okay, and so we are limiting ourselves a lot of times. When you say you're looking for that different, you're trying different things. You are you're limiting yourself of what experiences that you can have and where it is. We haven't explored. It's like unknown.
untapped.
It's
Untapped.
This is why you're a test dummy for yourself. And you can't take somebody else's recommendation, because just like cannabis, it's different for everyone. Just like yoga, it's different for everyone. Our breathing patterns and how that it is we do, it's all connected.
Well, that's art.
Into keeping, yeah.
Art has a way.
Yeah.
Art. When you express art, and the audience participates in art. True art is every audience member has a different perspective to what they're seeing.
Exactly.
You know, what we've come to entertainment in this programming is that everybody's having the same experience. And so that's the way, the wonders, I call it the wonders of how God communicates. Because God communicates on your wavelength and say, oh, well, this is what you're going through, or this is what you need out of this particular artistry. And you're like, how in the world am I getting this unique message that is seen to be timed perfectly for me? And I feel so blessed that this awesome and magnificent power took the time to communicate directly to me by this artistic expression. And in this case, artistic expression is music, film, but in this case, your artistic expression is the actual edibles, the cooking, the nourishing,
It's art
the
to
love.
me, and that's what goes in. When we see a good painting or we see something that's going to come in, it invites in the senses for what we
Are
love.
those sausages?
We are, girl, we've done some
What is
little
that?
blinks, cocktail sausage, little piggies on the blanket.
Wow.
You know,
Oh,
yeah,
cheeses.
girl, they can get down. Biscuits
Pretzels.
and gravy. We've done brunch, chicken and waffles.
So
Look at
while
the
the audience
Chex
is
Mix.
looking at the
The Chex
variety
Mix.
of different
And
things,
now, and it's savory things, and it's healthy. You can see the things that it comes in. It's based on people who have asked me what it is they want. That's why I always tell you, I can't create a menu. You just got to tell me what you want. What are you looking for and what not? You know, whether it's clam chowder because you've come out of chemo and that's the only thing you can get down. Whether it's ice cream so that, you know, I've had cancer patients with sores in their mouths that can't get anything down. Spent 3 weeks to live in a wheelchair. No doubt, not being able to move. Ice cream's the only thing that they can get into there. Okay, so I'm going to mix up. What's your favorite flavor? You know? And tell me everything so when it's presented to you, it's going to come in and it's going to feast and it's going to work. That's the medicine.
so now,
Yeah.
basically,
Not for children. That's
Not
not a kid's
for
birthday
children.
cake.
Oh,
Although I might
that's
serve it at
Now,
a
I do
teenage-
have to say, this was one of the #1 cakes that people like outside of the red velvet. It's called Stoned on Sesame Street.
What?
And-
Oh my
Yeah.
Stoned on
God.
Sesame Street?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
the little town I grew up in is Yellow Springs. It's a hippie town, and come on, makers of Sesame Street. If you ain't hippie, give me a break. If y'all
Yes.
ain't once had a moment
Look
where
at
you've
that.
created the education that you've had, because again, my experience with dealing with even my children and you know using cannabis was I couldn't be a hypocrite too. The integrity lies in that regardless of what I'm
I
going to
agree.
do, I can't be a hypocrite too. Okay, I have to preach
what are we
it
looking
is.
at right here?
Okay,
That's
this
the
is
same
the
thing, the
Stoned on
Sesame-
Sesame
Oh,
Street.
my
I came out
God.
with this, and this one is the Fruity Pebbles cake. The Fruity Pebbles cake, and so yeah.
So
it's
your
colors,
children,
it's
are you saying that
sensation.
you allowed your children
I
to...
can put no. They know mom. Again, it's I have raised 4 children in this, and now they're all older, so I got through that one.
I feel you, me
Because
too.
we're grown up in an
Amen.
age where your legality and what you have to, and let me get started on politics.
That
That's
looks
another
so
discussion.
good.
Laws
that
and
banana
politics.
thing, right? That there.
The banana, those are dry bananas with a caramelized crystal, you know, I would freeze, so it's like crinkly when it comes in. It was
I already
inspired by
taste
Bananas
so many
Foster.
textures right there.
By Bananas Foster. I'm going to take recipes that come in your senses and what it should look like in doing. I like my square cakes because that's how I've created that perfect dosage size. And each one of those, so you know when you get a cake, it's about 4 doses. How do you use it? You start with 1 corner of it, or you do, like I said, you use half of it, you know, that can get you through. Eat the whole thing if you're sick. Okay? Because
Okay.
it puts your body into a deep state of rest, the best thing that you can do to heal
I
faster.
was going to ask, can we talk about pain?
Okay.
What about pain? How does
Eat
all
the
of
whole-
this work with
If
pain?
you have body pain, now the chocolates
Like
are
back
great when I
pain.
say darker ones for indica, okay? Everything that I'm saying and describing has been based on research from taking in data from everybody else, okay? It's not just, oh, you liked it and it was good? Okay, no. I'm gonna ask you, how long is the duration that it is that you had? You tell me 2 days, okay, good. How much of it did you eat?
Right.
You tell me 7 to 8 slices, well, you ate the equivalent of a cake and a half, girl. Okay? And I know you had some of those cookies too. You had to because the snickerdoodles were bomb, right?
They were really good.
Those
They were really good.
they're moist where it is that they should be. They're exactly how it is because it's based on mama's recipes and grandma. And it's based on doing the best. And I've worked under
So
some
she
of the
mentioned
best
pain.
kitchens. So I know. My cakes get people excited, even me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the love that goes there. I get excited when I'm baking for you guys. So when you're doing it, I say when you have backaches, I will ask people, where does it ail you?
Okay.
Where does it ail you? Whether it's not you're dealing with epilepsy, whether or not you're dealing with maybe lupus, maybe it's a back pain, maybe you've been, a motorcycle rider who, broke his back and is, and been laid out
Or maybe you
flat
just had
for
sex too
days.
long the night before, and then you just needed some,
Because
you got a little ache in your back.
Is that what you're saying?
It's sore.
Tantra.
It's sore. So what about that kind of pain?
So you got your workout.
That's when you do the stretching. The stretching. The next
All
step
right.
is the stretching.
I just want to know how this relates
So
to
here's
that.
what you
do.
do. Take cannabis on yoga. I would do a smoke. I smoke before I do yoga. Okay, I eat edibles
do the
before I
tincture.
go to bed. If I don't have to do anything for the day, and I need to stay down because I don't know how to do that. So I will eat the whole thing just to keep me down. It's how I use it and when I use it. When
Yes.
people say, "What do you like?" I like everything.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what I'm doing, where I'm going, how I'm doing. This is called responsible dosage. If I'm going to use pens and oils, I've got different pens. Okay, for what it is, I'll go into more of the sativas if I know it's going to be a day, but. Quite frankly, I'll stick to more of the hybrids, just to keep me calm and mellow through the day. Trail mix and the cheese crackers do that for CEOs. I've had them go, I can go to a business meeting and I can eat those, so they would specifically order certain ones. I've had people who said, I've had an office CEO, he'll order the trail mix and he'll do the mac and cheese, he'll eat the trail mix and have the mac and cheese or the pasta salad for lunch, and he'll do it. And he'll say, that's what gets me through. And they get mad. when they don't
we
have
need
the
to
dosages
conclude
that
here.
they
So
needed.
before we conclude
So,
here,
yeah.
why is our community so one-dimensional? Why are we just smoke?
Lack of education.
And we have all of these choices. You go to the dispensary in our neighborhood, and they don't have these type of extracurricular, devices or products. They don't have edibles. They barely have sativa. They definitely don't have.
They're always running. Let me tell you something. Guys know this, and as a cultivation, okay, and
So
and
why
this
are
is
we
it.
so limited?
Sometimes you'll have sativas, and whenever the sativas come in, people are lacking edicals. Your indicas. Your growers are planting according to what is trendy. Okay, without realizing. So if you have more people saying, "Oh, I love that OG all day long," you're going to get nothing but indicas. Okay, sativas take a little bit longer to grow. They grow up skinnier. You don't get as much as a batch. This is when it comes into economics. Okay, so you're looking at it. So it goes with the flow, though. We're always going to say when you get more sativas, you're going to have less indicas. Okay, you're going to get more things that are hybrid. The industry is so rampant. Be a connoisseur. Find something or a strain, what it is that you like, and then find that grower. Branding is everything. Everything.
So
And
where
then
I'm leading at,
definitively.
how do we educate, and isn't that where you're leading? How
This
are we
is
going
what
to educate
everything-
these specifics so we can
Yeah.
start actually fine-tuning the cannabis, the CBD for your specific body, but you as the consumer or the customer is participating in the process?
You are going to understand that you're in a volatile, chaotic stage right now. And without trying to get into politics, okay, because that's a long discussion. Without getting into politics, the legal industry is not where it should be to be able to create different products. The USD and the FDA are not in regulation yet. The federals are not on board, so you're going to be limited with supplies and what you have. You're not going to be able to have these, different cakes and things that are like that are in there, even though stores can be built for it. When I did my testing, it was taking 5 to 10 different places in different localities and monitoring them on a weekly basis and maintaining the refrigerators, and if they didn't have the refrigerator, getting them and preparing them. So it was setting up test dispensaries, okay? And then keeping that consistency flow. You're working like Pepsi, you're working like Coke, you're constantly delivering on a weekly basis, because this is not a monthly industry. You take your medicine daily, okay? You take your medicine daily.
So how do we educate the public on this?
And so you have to listen to your body. You have to take in the different of what you can. take in the information. Your bud tenders need to be trained. Your professionals need to be trained. They're not there. So the best training that you have right now is yourself.
Yeah, but
And
what
it's
about the ones that
scary.
don't want, like he said, that what did you say? Like black people
Oh.
were not, they
People
want
of
to
color,
smoke,
They're
right?
gonna do it.
So
Yeah.
they don't
That's
want,
all we know.
Is it
You know,
too
especially-
expensive?
And
then?
they're
Do you
gonna
think
go
it's too
with more
expensive?
oils.
I just think-
They're gonna
I wanted to
do-
ask, is it reasonable? Like you can go buy, spend $10 and get a joint. Is this the same way? Can I
No.
get this for $10?
I always say to people, yeah, my other thing for integrity is that it has to be cost efficient.
Right,
It
of
has to
course.
come in to be cost efficient because it's gonna be something that's a daily. I always used to say, and I hate using this word, I am the Walmart. It was finding the companies that move products and move them fast, that was everywhere. That was being able to bring in and whatnot, because you're basing how you built that company was taking those companies that were top brands. So you're looking at even Amazon, okay? You're looking at those, and I hate this because that's another discussion. But it's knowing that it had to come in at a cost efficiency that people could afford. I don't want people charging an arm and a leg to being able to do this research. If you had to pay $25 for, a product, how am I gonna get the testing from you? Because I would rather take $25 and go buy 2.5 grams, 3 grams, or these days you could probably get an eighth, okay?
Yes.
And a 4-gram eighth at that,
Yes.
for $25. Well,
Right.
let me weigh my weed up against whether the edible. This might work, this I know
was
work. Okay, so now I have to figure out what product that I'm gonna be able to use on that, and because our community is used to, we smoke, okay, we're in the garden, and we are in the garden, and we know how to tend to it too. And so when you understand what you're gonna get, that becomes more valuable. Nobody's ever gonna trade one for the other and how you use it. There are some people who need to vape because they're breathing, and how it comes in. And to skip back to that, there are people who are coming off from being smoking, and we are using it. Carcinogens are caused by what you're rolling it up in, okay? Be mindful of what you're putting. If you're using paper, okay, or whether you're using tobacco leaves, all right, when you're rolling up blunts and you're sticking in the cigars, that's where it becomes bad for you. And that's when you have to think about your asthma. These days everybody's lighting up a joint and putting nicotine in it.
That's
Okay?
true. Yeah, I've heard
They're
of
putting
that.
the nicotine, and you can, and as an asthmatic,
I thought that
the
was
moment
called
I
Primo.
smoke off of that, and because it's such a passing, and they're gonna pick up a joint, they're gonna smoke it, and not think twice about where it came from
Or what's in it?
or what's in it. And as a chef, for me, I gotta stay healthy or y'all don't get your edibles for the week, okay? So for me, I have to be health conscious of everything that it is.
And
If
cost
somebody's
efficient,
cost
and
is
that's
costing-
why.
Yeah.
That's
So
why black
there
people probably
comes to-
don't buy. I mean, because I know you're profitable, and because these sell itself, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't know, because
You
I
don't
didn't
know.
know, I thought maybe it was expensive. Like, wow, I love this so much, but would I be able to afford it?
Because it looks richer, the
Well, if
whatever
you're being
it is.
honest,
really
if you're getting the
is.
same feeling for
And-
2
and-
days,
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and-
I mean,
and
now I
then
know,
people-
but I didn't know before, and I
This is
have
why-
you right there to ask.
But
You know?
let me tell you, those small dosage sizes, that was the key. It's a
Right.
daily dose, okay? It's a daily perfect dose. The average that you're gonna get off of this is gonna be about a 2.5-hour high. You can get that consistency that'll come in.
But I'm a lightweight,
You
so
can
this thing
do
will
a
last me
slice
the
of it,
entire
exactly.
day. Seriously.
Know what your body is.
Right.
Know
Okay,
what you're
We're
using.
going to
and-
wrap it up now.
and-
So,
yeah.
I would like to thank everybody, my guest, Miss Laura and Miss Valerie, for, giving me this experience. And I just want to urge the audience that there's so much more to cannabis with the internal expression. And it's all about the relaxation. And we've had several stories that we shared here today about people having out-of-body experiences, having their sensitivity and the connection to others, and health things that are taking place. So overall, there's so much more to discover beyond smoking that we need to have some formalities, and we need to have some trust, and we need to have some branding. And that's why I brought Laura here. So share with the audience where they can discover you and repeat their experiences.
First off, go ahead, CC&C Edibles. it is know that I usually put you guys on R&D. Okay, so if you're actually experiencing it, y'all guinea pigs to me. Call me for catering jobs, call me for that. That's the realm that it is that I am. It's a place where I can safely be able to monitor. So as a commercial, kitchen, the products that are out, I am a legitimate, permitted, cannabis company. And I'm gonna, because I'm gonna put the legality there. It's the truth. That's the reason why it's trusted, and it's the truth for what goes in, and you can bank on that. Have the same experience, expect on that, not bank on that. Because chances are feed you for free. So, and I'm always going to bring more. There's always going to be something in my
And
bag.
check her website out on a consistent basis, because she's
Yeah.
always at an event.
Yeah.
And so if you want to participate, if you want to try the product out for yourself, go visit her website. She'll let you know where she'll be at all over LA. And then you can have your party on, you can do your experiment, and you can socialize and experience it for yourself.
Okay.
It's worth it. It's
And
so
look
worth
me up
it.
more. Like, I'm going to tell you guys, go to Instagram, because I'm going to tell you the website's under construction. I don't just sell off the internet or do anything.
So it's CCNC on
CCNC
Instagram?
Yeah, you can go to CCNC Edibles. Okay, Google the name. Like I said, Candace Cakes and Confections, and that'll bring up the data. It's a hamster wheel, so it's hard to. I had marketing and advertising ask me what's the best. Word of mouth. So here's my word of mouth. Yeah, look me up, get a hold of me. There is a way to do it. You can email me that best, and let's discuss what you want me to make for you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you experienced a wonderful show, and I hope you digested the information and realized that the body has an internal capacity to move, to flow, to be free. And a lot of the things that are weighing us down are our stressors, are our trimmers, are our traumas, and we have to start dealing with other type of medicine, other type of mental health, other type of breathing thing that can bring all of these things together, lighten us up so that we can actually navigate through this so-called crazy maze that we call life. But it's a beautiful life. We just have to get into the right flow. So tune in to Vibration Frequency, Breathe Infinity. We have a free workshop this Saturday at 5:30 p.m. here at 740 Centinela Avenue, Suite 201. So come down, and we'll be giving you some information on how you can lose weight, how you can deal with your stress, but mostly some of the things that society has all around us that is prohibiting our bodies from fully living, expressing, and really carrying on a lot of excess weight that is externally given to us. So we're going to talk about all these specific things, and you're going to get an individual map, a guide on the things that we all need to do to enjoy our health and live more abundantly.
All
Listen to
right.
your body.
I
There
will
we
be
go.
there.
Listen to your body.
Thank you for joining.
Peace out.